down all the time. I have a notebook. I write down little things that get said. And one of the things that made sense was Shane was always saying a bounce off the key level is a good trade. So now instead of the key levels are again proving to be a good thing, and I'm testing up a new trade, just a bounce off support and resistance off the key levels, which Shane's been running through in the room lately. So instead of not making money around those areas, it'll now be turning into a profit-making opportunity. The only thing I could see in the future is if the key levels change their way, that's fine, but I'll just trade straight through them, because I sort of monitor if I had taken the key level trades. But crude's my chosen first system, and the V2 trend trader, and that's pretty much all I've got to say about it for now. But I'd like to hear back from some people, take some questions. So Shane, I'll hand it over to you if you would like to contribute a bit as well.
That was excellent, Jim. Well done. I'll take you through a couple of things that Jim's touched on, and he might want to just talk a little bit too in a second. But that was fantastic. It just shows you really that, like we said, you can get a system and a strategy, but it's all about developing ownership of it. So by you manually going through and testing and looking at the key levels, because that was just a suggestion, you've actually customised it to suit your style. And some of the interesting things that Jim has picked out, which he mentioned, but would be good to provide people with some more information on, was the impact that the key levels have on trades when crude's going towards the key level. And he described it to me when I was talking to him last week about crude sucking price back into a key level, or if it pushes through, it sometimes gets a little bit of stickiness away from the key level. So it's important to clear that area, and it makes sense because obviously there's supply and demand areas. They're areas where we're going to get there's a battle between the buyers and sellers to get that equilibrium in the market. So anywhere where we can take advantage of that, and that's exactly what we want to do. So I'll be interested to see, one of the things we're going to do, obviously Mike is doing as well, is going to be coding into the strategy the ability to be able to turn off or filter out the key levels. So using the great work that Jim's done as an opportunity for us to build that into the strategy. But as I said before, without that fairly intensive manual testing, you're not going to arrive at that information. So well done, Jim. But a couple of things there he's mentioned is that the key for the whole process was driven based around drawdown. So he's looking at obviously reducing his risk and a risk per day, so a drawdown per day, and in doing so he's been able to increase his net profit to drawdown, which is what our goal is with the money management process. So when we go through that money management 8 or 10 week cycle, or that program, our goal there is to make a maximum drawdown and increase our net profit. So that's really one of the keys there. So just if we've got questions, now's a great time to be asking those questions. So if you have any, please let us know, and either myself or Jim can start answering those questions. But we've got, the great thing is that, and Jim touched on as well, is the important thing with any system, whether it's one of ours or someone else's that you take on, you've got to really find out and make sure that the system suits your style. Because one of the things that I've grappled with in the past, and I think everybody, if you've been trading for a little while, everybody has had to start somewhere when they were trading, whether it was futures, options, forex. So the key is finding that kind of comfort level where you're trading a system or a strategy that suits your style, because if you can't arrive at that point, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter how much you want to trade it. If it doesn't suit your style and your comfort level, then you're not going to do well with the strategy. And that's why it's important to, take ownership of it, customize it, make sure it suits your style. And that's one of the keys, for successful trading, because once you've mastered that strategy and you're at a point where you're doing really well, then it's time to potentially look at adding something else to your repertoire. So let's take a few questions, but that was excellent, Jim. Just obviously keen to see how long this winning streak goes for, and I've definitely seen a bit of a shift in the dynamic of crude. So I know this week in the room we've been watching, last week as well, some great opportunities from that 8:50 to 9:10 session. So just that 20 minutes of trading that we've had has been fantastic. And one of the benefits with that is too, it's 20 minutes. You're not having to battle fatigue, particularly if you're an Australian trader, you're up late at night. You've got 20 minutes, so the fatigue element, which is something that we all need to watch for. So fatigue, and obviously maintaining a controlled emotional environment where we're not letting our stress levels get too high. But those two things are critical. So if we can, reduce the amount of trade time we've got towards the later time of the day, that's ideal for us, because it just means that we've got a short burst.
And there are the US times, but the main session is 2 to 5 o'clock on the Euro session, and then follows on to 6:10 for the when that continues on, and then the US session is from 8:55 to 10 o'clock. But I've really gone trading on the US session past 20 past 9. But mostly because I'm just in there to capture up losses from the earlier session. But by sampling the trading day 3 times a day with the system, I think it's a good way to capture that the breakouts. But at the moment it is sitting on the US session, so I'm generally coming into the US session holding a few losses from a few losing trades. But that's fine, because it helps with my drawdown. And I've just, if you can just scroll down a little bit there, please, Shane. And I'll just show you how I've worded just in case, with the key levels. So trading towards the key level, 0 to 19, no trade. 20 points to 25 points out is it's discretionary, and I'm looking for reasons not to take the level 25 points up. That's quite conservative on a 55 tick chart. You'd allow anywhere around 15 points would be fine, but that's just the way I wanted it. And then enter a trade when the price is 14 points clear of a key level heading away. And that's pretty much it. It's just simple rules, but as long as I implement them the same each time, and obviously I've watched trades just not work out for me on the key levels, and I could have been in on them, but that's just the way it is. And also, I tried to. This is very good for a trade entry based on the break of the automation's entry bar by 2 points. That definitely filters out a lot of trades, as Shane pointed out. He's known that for a long time, but it's too hard to do actually in a real trading environment. So I've just let that one slide and just go to auto. Would be nice. Karen, you mentioned less than 50 points profit. That's my minimum cutoff. So if I have, say, $50 profit, then I won't. At the Euro session, I won't tackle the US session. So that's generally my cutoff. But I do let the trades run their course. So that's why I'm getting up to $5,000 profit in a month, because it's a trend system. So I'm letting the trades run their course and finish up. But if the main session, $50, Karen, 5 points. So that to me, that's a good dinner out for me. So $50 puts dinner on the table. But the whole idea is I didn't want to overtrade the system, because that just adds more risk, and it's a beginner's system. I was trying to avoid overtrading. Yeah, definitely a typo there. But yeah, $50. Thanks for yeah, thanks for that, Karen. But that's the whole thing. I designed it initially as like a beginner system for myself, just something I could get going in the market, and get up and running, and get myself live trading. That's all. Thanks very much for your time, everyone. I'll hand it back to Shane, I'm sure.
Excellent work, Jim. Yeah, so I mean, with any of the trade plans we're running, whether it's one of the GMT ones or one that you're developing out yourself, you have to have a circuit breaker. There has to be a point at which you have a circuit breaker for the day, because even with a good volatile system, there'll be days where it gets choppy, and you've got to apply that circuit breaker. And it's almost it may not be a case of you have a big losing day, as in lots of points, but what you might find is you get small losing trades. You might have 5 or 6 or 7 of small losing trades, and that might not amount to a lot of points, but psychologically we always want to protect our psychological bank, our confidence bank, and really the best way to do that is to know your system, know what its drawdown is, know what its worst losing run is, know when that's occurred, how quickly did it take to bounce back from a losing streak, and just know what basically the history of your system is, because even when you start trading, after you've done your testing, you've spent a lot of time with your system, you still want to be prepared and almost mentally prepare yourself for, the system going through a bit of a drawdown. So, it's important to be thinking about that. But great work, Jim. As I said, he's taken not so much a price or a volume filter, but he's taken this market structure as a filter and applied that to the trade plan, which is excellent. So, guys, that's about it for us tonight. We just wanted to give you a bit of a look at what, some of the great work that some of the traders in the program are doing. We've heard before from Peter Ferner as well, and that was great when he was taking us through the breakout strategy and his work on the Forex, and again Jim as well. So good stuff. And as we do get more and more people who develop up these customised trade plans, we'll be sharing that information with you and going through and looking at how people are tweaking different things, because remember that there's 6 strategies as part of the V2, so everybody's going to have a different way in which they trade. Some people are going to be trading the pullback strategy, others will want to trade the counter trend, other people like Jim would trade the trend trader. So the great thing is we're customising things to suit our specific personal trading style. So that's great. Now, if you have any additional questions, feel free to send me an email, shane@globalmarkettrader.com. Otherwise, I look forward to catching you later in the live session. And it's been a very good live session, which is the 8:50 to 9:10. As Jim said, that's been a lot of volatility. So a big thank you to Jim. Excellent work, Jim. And appreciate you sharing that stuff with us. That's awesome. So thanks everybody, and we look forward to our we generally do a Thursday presentation, so we're going to mix it up a little bit and have other people present as well. So good stuff, and very interesting. So we've recorded the presentation for Prosperity, and just to get a good look at how you're doing it, and obviously the key levels are the big thing that have come out of it with the profit potential. So that has made a huge difference in the profitability of the strategy. when it instead of having a fairly flat or negative May, it's actually done really well. So well done. So thanks for your time, everyone. And if there's no other questions, I'm going to wrap it up there. Have a great rest of the day and rest of the week, and we will catch you next week. Cheers. And if you're in for the live session, we'll catch you in about an hour and 20.